I never imagined a small ebony container in my garage would demolish my decade-and-a-half marriage in just one evening. It was a gloomy Saturday in Denver, with raindrops pattering against the rooftop like nature's Morse code. I was immersed in garage work, rummaging through aged equipment and lumber pieces for an upcoming design venture. That's when it caught my eye, concealed beneath an oxidized toolbox as if seeking refuge. A diminutive black case, roughly the size of playing cards, containing a USB drive and a pair of concert stubs. Tickets I had no recollection of purchasing. My instincts flared, but I dismissed them. Probably just some forgotten items Clara meant to discard. Let me introduce myself. I'm Jacob Hensley, a 38-year-old interior design specialist who excels at transforming disorder into elegance. My spouse, Clara, 36, works as an event coordinator, perpetually on the move with her trusty clipboard and winning personality. We're parents to Sophie and Liam, living what appears to be an idyllic life. But that mysterious box? It was about to shatter our seemingly perfect facade. I carried the USB to my study's laptop, while rain continued its persistent rhythm outside. Upon connecting it, I heard it, Clara's voice, light and playful, conversing with an unknown man. A rich, melodious voice I couldn't place. My palms grew moist as I opened the initial recording. She whispered, "He reminds me of those Lake Tahoe evenings, darling." Lake Tahoe? We'd never visited there together. My chest thumped violently. Who was this mystery man? And why did she sound so energetic, so joyful, in a way I hadn't witnessed in such a long time? Before we proceed further into this shocking, serpentine narrative, let me take a moment. Where are you tuning in from? Share a brief comment below. And if this tale has captured your attention, don't forget to subscribe. Believe me, what follows is something you won't want to skip. Clara arrived home later, her hair glistening with raindrops, her complexion ashen as if haunted by unseen specters. She claimed to have spent the entire day in Boulder, finalizing a major event. However, her gaze wandered when I inquired about the details, and her responses were terse, mechanical, like rehearsed dialogue. The audio file lingered in my thoughts. Playing it casual, I mentioned discovering some old items in the garage. Her head jerked upward, asking what items. The response too swift, too intense. I displayed the USB, dangling it like a fisherman's lure. Look what I found. Care to explain? Her expression froze momentarily before she forced a laugh. Just work-related recordings. Dull event notes. She grabbed it hastily, tucking it away, her fingers visibly quivering. The atmosphere shifted palpably then. It grew dense, oppressive, reminiscent of those moments before a fierce storm descends upon the Rockies. I observed her ascending the stairs, shoulders tense, and recognized the deception. Those concert tickets surfaced in my thoughts. The Killers, her favorite band. But the dates didn't correspond with any of our outings. And that masculine voice on a USB, using terms of endearment? Definitely not mine. Standing there, watching rain streak across the window panes, an icy sensation crept along my vertebrae. My wife harbored a significant secret, and I was determined to uncover it. The subsequent hour found me prowling the house like a restless predator. Each floorboard's groan seemed to echo her movements above. That recorded laughter haunted me, playing on repeat until it seared into my consciousness. Who was this mystery man? Perhaps a smooth-talking event coordinator she collaborated with? A client? My thoughts gravitated toward Travis Boone, her colleague who frequently featured in her narratives. Tall, self-assured, the type who could charm his way through life. Could it be him? Though concrete evidence eluded me, I possessed something more potent, an instinctive drive pushing me to investigate further. Clara believed she had me fooled, but I was already anticipating her next move. The USB discovery was merely the beginning, and I wouldn't let this go. That evening, following Clara's hasty retreat upstairs with the USB, Our home felt like an overcharged battery ready to explode. The rain had ceased, leaving behind an unsettling quiet that amplified every sound. Standing in the kitchen, bathed in the digital clock's ethereal glow casting strange shadows, I analyzed her earlier reaction. The tremor in her hands, that artificial laugh when dismissing the recordings as work-related. This wasn't mere nervousness. This was pure fear. And that fear provided my first concrete indication that she concealed something far more sinister than innocent late-night chuckles. I lingered until the children drifted off, their gentle breathing echoing through the hallway, before executing my plan. Clara remained upstairs, likely believing she'd evaded my scrutiny. I approached her handbag, resting on the living room sofa, the leather's coolness contrasting with my clammy hands. My pulse raced as I retrieved the USB. Her carelessness in leaving it there, assuming I wouldn't dare search again, played to my advantage. Retreating to my study, I secured the door and inserted the device. When the next file loaded, Clara's voice struck me with devastating force. "Travis, those voicemails need to disappear. Jacob isn't naive. He'll connect the dots if we're not vigilant." Then that arrogant voice, dripping with condescension. "Take it easy, sweetheart. He's too absorbed in his carpentry to notice anything." Travis. My suspicions confirmed. Travis Boone, Denver's event planning virtuoso. Our paths had crossed once at Clara's corporate gathering, where he displayed his practiced charm, gripping my hand with calculated confidence. Now his voice invaded my laptop, intimately addressing my wife. Despite my churning insides, I continued listening. The recording terminated abruptly, leaving questions unanswered. Which voicemails? What other secrets lurk beneath? I extracted the USB and pocketed it, my thoughts whirling. This evidence wasn't sufficient. I needed irrefutable proof to destroy their facade. Come morning, Clara orchestrated her usual breakfast performance, flipping pancakes as if everything were normal. The children's school discussions filled the air, unaware of the tempest building within me. I maintained the charade, nursing my coffee while studying her intently. She hummed softly, tossing her hair in that familiar way from our courtship days. The act was transparent, and I wasn't falling for it. "Hey, Clara," I interjected casually. "Those Tahoe trips you've mentioned lately, I was thinking we could make it a family vacation." Her spatula suspended momentarily before she manufactured a smile. "Oh, that? Just a venue I once checked out. Beyond our budget." She returned to cooking, but I caught it. The subtle clench of her jaw, her white-knuckled grip on the utensil. That lie ignited something primal within me. I held my tongue, watching Sophie and Liam devour their breakfast. The moment they rushed out to catch their bus and Clara reached for her car keys, I intercepted her at the doorway. "Discovered something interesting in the garage," I mentioned, stepping closer. "A receipt from some seedy bar in Boulder, dated this past weekend. Funny, since you claimed to be at a client hotel meeting." Her expression shifted from shock to defensive in an instant. "That's absurd, Jacob. I never keep bar receipts. You're seeing things that aren't there." She pushed past me, her designer perfume leaving a bitter trail as she stormed out, the door slamming behind her. I had to admire her composure, but her performance wasn't flawless. The receipt was a calculated fabrication, a test to gauge her reaction, and she failed spectacularly. Her momentary panic revealed more than any evidence could. She wasn't just being careless at work. She was deliberately covering her tracks. After her departure, I headed straight for my truck, the diesel engine growling as I drove to the hardware store. My shopping list didn't include construction materials. Instead, I purchased a compact audio recorder, the type that could be concealed anywhere. Clara's vehicle would be my surveillance point. If she met Travis again, I have every conversation documented. By midday, I was lying beneath her SUV in our driveway, securing the tiny black device behind the glove compartment. My trembling hands betrayed me. not from the cold concrete pressing against my back, but from the gravity of my actions. This wasn't my character. I was a builder, a fixer, not someone who planted listening devices. Yet whenever I considered abandoning this plan, Travis's smug voice echoed in my mind. Relax, babe. He's too busy. That arrogant bastard was mocking me with Clara's complicity. I emerged from under the vehicle, cleaned my hands, and stared at her car like an armed explosive. Her next drive would reveal everything, and I'd be listening. If my suspicions proved correct, there would be no redemption. The hours crawled by as I sketched designs, my mind churning with possibilities. Was she orchestrating another rendezvous right now? Was Travis somewhere nearby, gloating while I sat here oblivious? The recorder provided some comfort, but I needed more. I wanted to witness her next deception firsthand, watch her composure crack. So I devised another strategy. I'd announce a weekend business trip to Seattle. She'd seize the opportunity for another clandestine meeting, and I'd be prepared, not with surveillance equipment or private investigators, with something far more devastating, something she'd never anticipate. The recorder was humming quietly in Clara's SUV, and my fabricated Seattle trip was in motion. I dropped the news casually during dinner, between bites of meatloaf. Got a client meeting in Seattle this weekend. I mentioned observing her. Reaction. Her fork paused mid-air, and she nodded too quickly, muttering something about the children staying with her sister. She avoided eye contact, a telling sign. She was already scheming, likely calculating the hours until my departure. I forced a smile, took another bite, and let her believe she had the upper hand. But I wasn't leaving town. The following day, I delved deeper. Waiting for the recorder's revelations wasn't enough. I needed immediate evidence. In my den, illuminated by the laptop's blue glow casting shadows across my architectural drawings, I accessed our shared bank account. Clara managed all our finances, her meticulous nature ironically making her careless. I poured through statement after statement, my coffee turning cold beside me. The evidence materialized. Unexplained charges scattered throughout. A budget motel in Golden for $40. A gas station near Lake Tahoe costing $50. All during weekends she claimed were work-related. None aligned with her supposed Boulder meetings or the high-profile events she'd boasted about. My heart constricted as I tallied the deceptions. She'd been disappearing gradually, right before my eyes. The chair groaned as I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. Lake Tahoe kept nagging at my consciousness. I retrieved my phone, hands trembling as I navigated to Travis Boone's Instagram profile. There was a photograph from 3 months prior. Him, beaming beside the lake, clutching a craft beer. The caption read, "Nothing beats a weekend escape." The timing matched perfectly with one of her motel expenses. My vision clouded, not from sorrow, but from an unfamiliar, overwhelming fury. I slammed the phone down forcefully, the sound reverberating through the empty den. This wasn't mere suspicion anymore. It was a detailed roadmap of her infidelity, and I was tracking every destination. Friday arrived. I packed my duffel, bid farewell to Sophie and Liam, and drove away, ostensibly headed for the airport. Clara stood on the porch, her smile strained, and I returned the gesture through clenched teeth. I traveled briefly, parking in a nearby strip mall. There, I exchanged my truck for an inconspicuous rental car and circled back. By midday, I was positioned across from our house, nursing tepid gas station coffee, monitoring her SUV. She acted swiftly. At precisely 2 o'clock, she loaded a weekend bag and departed, gravel crunching beneath her tires. I maintained a safe distance as I followed, the hidden recorder in her vehicle serving as my silent accomplice. She bypassed Boulder entirely, as I'd anticipated. The highway stretched westward beyond Golden, winding toward the looming mountains. My heart pounded as we passed the Idaho Springs signage. Her destination remained a mystery. Despite my rental car's occasional shudder, I maintained visual contact, her taillights piercing through the afternoon's misty veil. She veered onto an unfamiliar mountain road, leading to a secluded collection of rustic cabins, the type frequented by seasonal hunters or clandestine lovers. Remote, discreet, isolated. She pulled into a gravel parking area, and I concealed my vehicle behind a massive pine tree, killing the engine. Through the windshield, now clouded by my breath, I observed her exit the SUV, sunlight dancing across her hair. She surveyed the surroundings anxiously before disappearing into cabin 6. I remained motionless, tracking time, until a black Jeep appeared. Travis Boone emerged, exuding confidence in his leather jacket, and strode directly to her cabin. No pause, no courtesy knock. He possessed a key. My fingers curled into tight fists, nails biting into flesh, but I stayed put. I retrieved my phone, zoomed the camera, and captured a grainy image of his entry. But this evidence felt insufficient. The recorder would provide irrefutable proof of their liaison. Yet as I watched, the cabin door creaked open again, revealing an unexpected third party. A petite woman in a hood, moving swiftly toward a previously unnoticed vehicle. Her identity remained a mystery. Questions flooded my mind. Was this an elaborate ruse? A smokescreen? I sank lower in my seat, heart thundering, as her car vanished down the road. Though Travis and Clara remained inside, the nature of my pursuit had shifted. Was this merely an affair? Or something more sinister? The recorder would reveal the truth, but timing was crucial. I started the sedan, carefully retreating onto the main road, my thoughts a chaotic maze. I departed the cabin scene, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles blanched, haunted by the image of Travis's confident entrance and the mysterious hooded figure's hasty exit. The rental car's engine protested as I navigated the mountain roads, but my racing thoughts drowned out its complaints. Was this woman an accomplice? A sentinel? While uncertainty clouded the specifics, one thing was clear. Clara was embroiled in something nefarious, and I wouldn't let her. Escape accountability. The recorder concealed in her SUV remained my trump card, and I was preparing to reveal my hand. Saturday morning, I retrieved it. Clara's car sat in our driveway, pristine and innocent, while she bustled inside, preparing lunch for the children. I'd fabricated a late return from Seattle, ensuring she wouldn't anticipate my presence. Slipping into the garage, I accessed her glove box, extracting the recorder with trembling fingers, briefly noting an unfamiliar gum wrapper. Pushing aside my curiosity, I retreated to my truck, strategically parked down the street, and pressed play. Through initial static, her voice emerged, taut with urgency. "Travis, we need to be quick. I told Jacob I'm running to the grocery store." His arrogant chuckle followed. "He's completely in the dark, Clara. Let's make this count." My stomach churned as I continued listening. The engine's drone faded, replaced by movement and a door's decisive slam. Gravel crunched beneath footsteps. Her breathing intensified, and Travis spoke softly. "You seem tense, babe. What's wrong?" Clara responded with barely contained panic. "I spotted someone by the cabin. A woman observing us. I think she's aware." After a weighted pause, Travis replied, his confidence wavering, "You're being paranoid. No one suspects anything." But his previously smug tone had evaporated. The recording terminated abruptly, leaving me alone with my thoughts, coffee cup quivering in my grasp. That mysterious hooded figure wasn't a hallucination. Clara had witnessed her too. This transcended a simple affair. It was rapidly deteriorating. Visual confirmation became imperative. I heightened my surveillance, sending Clara a message from a disposable phone purchased at the mall, posing as a client. "Emergency meeting in Golden tonight. Can you manage it?" She took the bait, confirming a 7 o'clock arrival. I knew Golden wasn't her true destination. She'd head straight to Travis. I secured a nondescript gray hatchback and followed her that evening. The children were safely at their aunt's, and Clara wasted no time. She accelerated westward, following the familiar route to the cabin. I positioned myself strategically behind a weathered shed, observing through borrowed binoculars from Liam's outdoor equipment. She arrived first, pacing anxiously outside cabin 6, her figure stark against the deepening twilight. Then Travis appeared, but unexpectedly accompanied. Another figure emerged from the vehicle, elongated and slender, shrouded in a hooded garment. My heart skipped a beat. It was the same woman from the previous day. This time, she remained present, positioning herself against the Jeep's frame while igniting a cigarette. Travis approached Clara with purposeful strides. Their interaction lacked intimacy, no embraces, no physical contact. He passed her something diminutive, a white object barely visible in the dim lighting, possibly an envelope. Clara hastily concealed it within her jacket, her actions betraying anxiety. The hooded woman continued smoking, her vigilant gaze sweeping across the tree line, assuming a protective stance. My mouth went dry. This revelation transcended mere infidelity. It was a calculated exchange, a conspiracy far more significant than I'd imagined. I captured photographs with my mobile device, maximizing the zoom capability. Despite the graininess, the images revealed telling details. Travis's tense jawline, Clara's compressed lips, and the mysterious woman's partially concealed yet angular features. The situation intensified when I later reviewed the audio recording, alone in my vehicle, engine silent, surrounded by darkness. Clara's whispered voice emerged. "If she's discovered us, Travis, everything collapses." His response was sharp. "She's insignificant. Just an addict I paid for surveillance." Clara remained unconvinced. She see my face. Where she speaks, the unmistakable terror in her voice revealed a deeper truth. Their fear extended beyond my discovery. They were terrified of her. I remained motionless, studying the illuminated photographs on my screen, the weight of the recorder substantial in my lap. My wife's betrayal ran deeper than infidelity. She was embroiled in something potentially criminal, and this enigmatic figure held crucial information. My surveillance had succeeded, but it had uncovered something far more sinister than anticipated. Gripping the steering wheel, watching the cabin diminish in my mirror, I knew retreat was impossible. Whatever dark secrets they harbored, I would expose them, regardless of the devastating consequences. I navigated homeward, the incriminating evidence burning in my pocket, darkness consuming the highway ahead. Clara believed she'd outmaneuvered me, unaware I'd witnessed her clandestine exchange with Travis, oblivious to my documentation of their mysterious sentinel. This had evolved beyond an affair into something more insidious. Their carefully constructed deception was about to crumble, and I would be the catalyst. I parked the rental discreetly, entered through the rear entrance, and waited in silence. The children's absence at their aunt's house left an oppressive stillness. Clara entered just after 10, her stilettos echoing against the hardwood floor. I activated the living room lamp, casting her in sudden illumination. She halted abruptly, keys suspended midair, her expression frozen in disbelief. "Evening, darling," I said, maintaining composure despite my internal turmoil. I scattered the photographs across the coffee table, the grainy evidence of her encounters with Travis staring accusingly upward. The recorder followed, its crimson indicator dormant but harboring damning revelations. "Explain this." Her handbag crashed to the floor, and momentarily, I anticipated her flight. Instead, she collapsed onto the couch, her hands quivering, eyes darting frantically like cornered prey. "Jacob, please let me explain," she pleaded, her voice unsteady. "It's not what you're thinking." I leaned forward, detecting the distinct scent of pine from the cabin clinging to her jacket. "Not what I'm thinking. I've recorded everything, Clara. You and Travis, orchestrating your escape. And what about that envelope? What are you trafficking? Her breathing faltered as she shook her head frantically. They're just business documents, event contracts. I crossed the line, I know. Got too involved with him. It was an error in judgment. An error. I released a harsh, cynical laugh. 12 months of deception isn't an error. It's deliberate. She dissolved into dramatic sobs, but I remained unmoved. I activated the recorder, allowing her recorded voice to permeate the room. If she discovers us, Travis, we're finished. Her eyes widened in recognition, mascara-stained tears tracking down her cheeks as I stopped the playback. Who's this woman, Clara? The one you're terrified of? She wrapped her arms around herself, swaying slightly, whispering, I don't know her identity. Travis employed her for surveillance, ensuring we weren't followed. She's just some vagrant, honestly. But her trembling voice and nervous glances toward the window betrayed her deception. I advanced, my presence imposing. You're lying. This extends beyond infidelity. You're deeply involved in something, endangering me and our children. Tell me everything, or I'm taking this to law enforcement. Her demeanor transformed instantly, tears replaced by rage. You think you're faultless, Jacob? Secluded in your workshop, neglecting me for years? Travis provided what you couldn't. Attention. Adventure. I earned it. Her accusation stung, but I remained steadfast. And the envelope? I persisted. She hesitated before snapping. It's money. From a client. Unofficial. Travis manages it. I avoided asking questions. Money. Under the table. My thoughts spiraled. Could it be extortion? Payoffs? Something more sinister? I clutched the photographs and recorder, fixing her with an unwavering stare. It's over, Clara. Whatever scheme you're running ends now. She lunged desperately for the recorder, but I jerked it away, her manicured nails scraping my skin. Please don't do this, Jacob, she pleaded, her voice cracking. Consider Sophie and Liam. I'll break it off with him. I promise. I remained unmoved, my expression glacial. You should have considered our children before betraying everything. I ascended the stairs, her racking sobs following me as I secured the bedroom door with a decisive click. Perched on the mattress, surrounded by the house's settling creaks, I replayed the final recording. Travis's voice, strained and urgent. She's a nobody, Clara, but if she talks, everything falls apart. I don't trust her. Then Clara's hushed response. Me neither. She has my plate number. My heart raced. This mystery woman wasn't merely keeping watch. She was a liability they desperately needed to contain. Staring at the ceiling, surrounded by damning photographs, I realized this revelation was just the beginning. It was a countdown, ticking away, and I couldn't predict the explosion. Clara's admission was merely scratching the surface. Whatever dangerous game, she'd entangled herself and was poised to consume us all. That night, the bedroom remained barricaded, Clara's desperate crying eventually fading to restless movement downstairs. Sleep eluded me. I sat motionless, the recorder heavy in my palm, repeatedly listening to her confession. Money. Under the table. Travis. The mysterious woman with the license plate information. My marriage lay in ruins, but this transcended mere infidelity. It was dangerous territory I couldn't ignore. By daybreak, my rage had crystallized into determination. I wouldn't resort to violence or heated confrontations. I'd strike where it truly mattered. Their carefully constructed facade. I waited until Clara's SUV disappeared down the street, maintaining her routine as if nothing had changed. The children remained safely at their aunt's, sheltered from the impending chaos. I searched my contacts until finding Nadia Boone, Travis's spouse, a ruthless attorney renowned for destroying opponents. We'd briefly met at that company gathering, her handshake confident, her smile calculated. Though we were barely acquainted, she'd certainly remember me now. I packaged the evidence, photos, recordings, and a brief note. Nadia, your husband's activities deserve your attention. Listen carefully. I delivered it to her law firm's mailbox downtown, finally feeling steady after days of turmoil. Back home, I dial my attorney, a gruff character named Pete, who'd handled my business contract for years. I need divorce papers. Pete, I stated, my tone emotionless. Immediately, he didn't probe further, just confirmed they'd be prepared by Monday. I ended the call and settled in the den, the oppressive quiet surrounding me, anticipating the cascade of consequences. The wait wasn't long. Around noon, my phone vibrated with a message from an unfamiliar contact. "Jacob, it's Nadia. Receive your package. Let's meet at Brews Cafe at 1. Bring all documentation." I collected the duplicate files I'd prepared and departed, my pickup weaving through Denver's lunchtime traffic. Nadia was already seated, occupying a corner table, her untouched coffee radiating warmth. She was direct. "Travis is finished," she declared, her tone glacial and resolute. She'd examined the recordings, studied the images. Her gaze shifted to my envelope, then returned to me. "Tell me about this woman." I shared what I discovered: the surveillance, the license plate, Clara's evident anxiety. Nadia's expression hardened. "She's no addict. I recognize her. Associates with Travis's questionable clients. She's collateral, and he's getting careless." I moved closer, intrigued despite myself. "Collateral for what?" Nadia took a measured sip of coffee. "Unreported income suggests illegal operations. The event's business is just cover. He's been embezzling for years." My heart sank. Clara wasn't simply unfaithful. She was complicit in a scheme, possibly more deeply than she'd admitted. Nadia remained stoic. "I'm submitting papers today. He leaves tonight or faces arrest." "And you?" I confirmed with a nod. "Divorce Monday." She smiled, predatory and cold. "Perfect. Let them sink together." I exited the cafe into the brisk air, my thoughts chaotic. Nadia's fury was an inferno, and I provided the spark. But I wasn't finished. I wanted Clara to suffer equally. That evening, she returned to find herself locked out of her own home. While she was away, I had replaced the deadbolt, leaving her belongings neatly packed in boxes on the porch. She'd banged desperately on the glass, calling out my name, but I remained steadfast in the entryway, clutching my phone. "Jacob, please just let me in. We can work this out." I cracked the door slightly, enough to glimpse her tear-stained face. "You already worked it out with Travis," I replied coldly. Nadia revealed everything. "My lawyer knows too. You're done here." Her expression shattered, but I closed the door firmly, the lock echoing like a distant shot. She lingered briefly before speeding away, her tires screeching into the gathering darkness. The aftermath hit with full force by Monday. Nadia unleashed her legal fury on Travis, forcing him out. Gossip spread rapidly through their social circles. Travis's career imploded when a major client withdrew their contract, unnerved by the circulating rumors. Clara bombarded my phone with messages I ignored, her desperate appeals evolving into threats before fading to nothing. I collected the children, explaining vaguely that their mother needed time away. Sophie clung to me tightly, intuiting the family's fracture, while Liam vented his confusion by kicking furniture. Our home felt empty, my workshop abandoned. The victory felt hollow rather than satisfying, and that mysterious hooded figure still troubled my thoughts. What secrets did she possess? What lay ahead? I demolished their world, but mine lay in ruins too. The aftermath of Clara's departure settled gradually. I drifted through the house like a specter, removing the remaining traces of her, while helping Sophie and Liam adapt to their altered reality. Half a year later, we left Denver's harsh landscape for a peaceful Boulder neighborhood, settling into a renovation project with stunning mountain views. I immersed myself in work, creating designs late into the night, striving to construct a stable foundation for my children. Yet the enigmatic hooded woman's presence persisted, an unresolved mystery. Nadia's warnings about questionable clients continued to trouble me. What dangerous situation had Clara entangled herself in? One brisk morning brought an unexpected shock. An unstamped, anonymous letter appeared under my door. Inside lay a grainy Polaroid showing Clara's vehicle at the cabin, dated from my surveillance night. The back bore an ominous message and marker: "Tell her to pay up or I talk." My heart froze. The woman had found me, and she meant business. I anxiously surveyed the street through the blinds, expecting her shadowy form among the trees, but saw only passing cyclists. I incinerated the photo in the sink, watching the smoke rise, resolving to shield my children from this truth. Clara remained their mother, flawed but irreplaceable, and I would protect them from this darkness. I eventually located her through Sophie's hesitant updates. Clara had fallen on hard times, working as a waitress at a small diner along Colfax, her event planning career destroyed by the scandal. When I visited her on a drizzly afternoon, the door chime announced my arrival. She appeared worn down, wearing a stained apron, the light gone from her eyes. Without ceremony, I placed the letter's remains across the counter in a plastic bag. "Your friend's making contact again," I murmured, keeping my voice down to avoid the cook's attention. "She knows my location." Clara's trembling hands continued wiping a coffee mug as she whispered back, "I'm broke, Jacob. Travis cut all ties when Nadia took everything. She's not someone to cross." I pressed forward, my tone firm. "Then handle it yourself. I'm done with this situation." She accepted her fate with a resigned nod, and I departed into the rain, my jacket growing heavy with moisture. Time inched forward. Liam began taking art lessons at school, which led me to Laurel. She taught the class, in her early 30s, her hands always flecked with paint and a laugh that seemed to pierce through my melancholy. We connected during coffee breaks, her steady presence anchoring me when dealing with challenging students. After a parent-teacher conference, she stayed behind to help clean art supplies. The classroom was filled with the scent of paint, children's artwork decorating every wall. Her question came unexpectedly. "Have you considered starting fresh?" I studied her face carefully before responding, constantly. But change takes time. Her smile was gentle yet confident. Time isn't always bad. Something within me began to transform, like light seeping through a crack. The situation took an unexpected turn. Nadia called a week later, speaking tersely. "Travis has disappeared. Left town entirely. Police discovered his burned-out Jeep near Lake Tahoe. No remains found. That woman you mentioned vanished completely." My grip tightened on the phone as boulders whined, rattled my windows. "What about Clara?" Nadia hesitated. "She's all right, last I heard. But stay alert, Jacob. This isn't finished." After hanging up, my heart pounded. Was Travis dead or running? The woman gone with her threats? That night, I double-checked every lock, my children sleeping upstairs, wondering if the complete truth would ever surface. Clara's deception ultimately destroyed everything she held dear. Her marriage dissolved, her professional life shattered, and her relationship with her lover crumbled into nothingness. Travis paid a devastating price too, his entire existence disrupted, perhaps permanently silenced. Nadia found her way forward, eventually marrying a prominent judge for what I understand. As for me, while I lost my sense of home and years of built trust, I gained something more profound, though harder to define. Perhaps it was clarity. The children and I are carefully crafting our new reality, one that Laurel is gradually becoming an integral part of. The lies we tell don't just damage those we deceive. They consume us from within, leaving nothing but an empty shell. Through it all, I've discovered that truth, though often painful, remains our only path to standing proud once the chaos subsides. The journey today has come to an end. Did you find this ending satisfying, or did it catch you off guard? Let us know how you feel right below. If you love this story, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe so you won't miss the next adventure. Thanks for sticking with us, and see you in the next tale.